good. Let me just check the audio levels one more time. Say something.
Yep.
All right, perfect. We're good. All right,
I'm
we are
started.
live. We are live and direct. Week 4 NFL reaction, reflection, flexion. Um, and right before we have the big matchup, the big matchup between the Jets and the Dolphins.
Hmm. The impenetrable force with the immovable object.
Yeah, well, we can't have. I mean, I feel like we're gonna have a I feel like there might be some contention if the Giants pick up a big win like they did, and the Jets don't match match that energy. So we'll see. We
Hmm.
already it's already bad enough with the with what the Mets have going on.
Yeah.
So we need some redemption somewhere. Before we do a reaction to the week, do you have any bets going tonight? Do you have anything cooking with this with Jets
I just put
Dolphins?
I put a quick one in for let's see, because I wanted to go Mason Taylor with because it feels like I'm right because they had been mentioning that like that they were going to kind of try to focus in on getting him the ball. But I was more so like it would make sense. He's from the Miami area. Jason Taylor's son. Let's it just feels like something perfect them to unleash him um, you know, this week. So I'm thinking, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? They've been talking about like, man, maybe he has his feet under him too, and he's gotten in a lot. He's been targeted and but then I go and I'm like, his over under is 25 on passing yards, and his receptions are at three and a half, and I'm like, all right, like that doesn't really make sense considering the most he's gotten is two.
Yeah.
So I just went with the reception yards because I figured if he gets one or two passes, I think he should be able to get to the 25 yards. But I mean that
You
it
don't
kind of
want
like
to
they
you don't
stole.
want to Isaiah Likely situation like I had last night.
Well, because the thing is, like with one pass or two passes against this defense, if he takes it, a 15, a 10 yard, the way the secondary is, maybe he can get it done. I just don't. I have more faith in that than I do in him getting like a boatload of targets. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially how bad like the rush defense has been. It feels like something that they would probably focus on rushing the ball over airing it out, even though the secondary is porous.
The Dolphins secondary.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, it's homecoming. His pops is probably gonna be there, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
You better be.
Mm. Yeah, I can't see him missing that one.
He's Mr. Miami. All
Joe
right, so
Taylor
that's
might be
what
in
you
the
got. You got
house.
nothing on Broncos Bengals.
Broncos, Bengals. I don't know, man. That's a tough. I don't. Like obviously going off the last game, you would, you what are you to expect? Like expecting something would be like, kind of wishful thinking in terms of like the Bengals, considering the offer that they put up against the Vikings. Obviously the Broncos, they went into the season with a lot of hype, a lot of hype, and they've fallen flat on their face thus far. It's almost like if all the naysayers of Bo Nix and Sean Payton were like a year too early
Yeah,
because everything
It's funny
everything
that
they
you
were
say
saying.
that because I was thinking about that.
Yeah, because everything that they've been saying last year that they were saying last year is what is actually happening now. So I don't know. Maybe that's the case, and or maybe everything is he's a limited. Bo Nix was a limited passer. Like that was one of the knocks on him, and he's not disproving it. He looked a lot better than people thought last year, but he's not disproving what those initial concerns were. It's just he's doing them this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's just gonna leave it up to that game is gonna be, on guard. Word Life and I are gonna this is gonna be this decided who wins the week, as he had Green Bay last night that obviously didn't work out. They didn't cover, but he can get some get back if he can at least get the Broncos to cover for him tonight. Cover the 7.5 against the Cincinnati Bengals,
Seven and
but
a half, man.
7.5 is a wild number to lay, man. Like you gotta
Yeah.
really believe. You gotta really believe in a dominant performance by the team to go with a 7.5. But the the Broncos do not currently fall in that category for me, unfortunately. But so I
No,
have a
so
question
no
for
sorry
you.
about.
Did you
Go
see?
for it.
Because I read this headline: Cohen and Salah clash post game over sign stealing talk.
Mm.
Did you see anything about that? I didn't see that.
Well, the thing is, what do you mean? Because of what he said originally, or
No, I don't know what happened. I'm just reading the headline. I'm asking you if
okay,
you know.
so during the week it popped up, because he was doing it almost. It was almost like a sneaky. It was like a sneaky complimentary, like sneak this, but like trying to say it in a complimentary manner, where he
Wait,
was like saying like Rob Saleh was saying how like the Liam Cohen and his offensive assistants or whatever, they have a very sophisticated legal sign stealing system where they get the calls in and they and decipher, and then they're able to kind of put together what to go against that defense. Obviously, that was in, he hadn't. I mean, I don't know how that got to him because obviously they hadn't faced beforehand. Um, and it's not like Robert Saleh faced them last year at any point. Um, well, with the Buccaneers or whatever, but because Liam Cohen was with the Buccaneers, but it was just like it turned into like kind of like people explaining what the sign stealing was, but even though it was
did the
legal, they were really
Buccaneers play the Packers at all while he was there briefly?
well, that might actually be, that, but he wasn't even on the defensive side of the ball last year when he went back to the Packers. I think
Well,
he
that's the
was.
thing is that, but that's why I asked because I feel like when I hear sign stealing, I'm assuming offensive signs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's the one who mentioned it. Like, they kind of tried to do this thing where it's like, oh no, he was being complimentary because, obviously it's legal and stuff like that. But, you bring that out and it's kind of just like, honestly, it kind of felt like this is one of the reasons why he wasn't good at being a head coach. And
Yo, no,
especially
no,
like,
don't disrespect my guy Salah. Stop it.
no, no, no. It was
He was,
just
he was a
like,
he was a great head coach. Great.
he's a great person, but just like the stuff that he focuses on and the stuff that he says out loud. You know what I'm saying? That's like
Yes, that
for
no, that I agree.
like
That,
because the thing is, it's like it actually I wanted to like say it to somebody, or like call in, but obviously I'm not spending time doing that. But when like people get on like Aaron Glenn for the way he handles the media and he doesn't talk and he doesn't give them anything, and it's like they rip him for that. But then I'm like, okay, but when the nicest guy, Rob Saleh, would answer all your questions and give you too much, you guys ripped him for that as well. You guys didn't give him any leeway. He was being ripped, from the second season on, and everything. So it's like in my head, I'm like, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Like you guys pretend like the media is gonna cut you some slack because you answer all the right. Yeah, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I do know is that Robert Saleh, anytime he would talk, he would just say too much. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to, when like it almost getting a like trying to dig yourself out of like a well with a bucket, or like you're the boat with a bucket, and you keep all you're doing is like you're throwing it over your shoulder, and the water is like now behind you instead of
Yeah,
in front of you,
yeah.
because it's like it doesn't matter how hard you try, you're not gonna explain your way out of everything. So you're better off not giving this type of shit to the media. So obviously it comes back, and then you know the Jaguars end up winning. And at the end of the game, he goes up and he says, I guess he says, keep your name out of your mouth. And
Wait, who said that?
and Liam Cohen said that to Rob Saleh.
He said, "Keep my name out of your mouth."
Yeah, yeah. And because
Wow.
because the thing is, I saw that there was some sort of a like little scuffle at the end of that game, because remember that was at the 4 o'clock window, and
Yeah,
those games were going on. So I had one on each screen, not each screen, but like with the split screen or whatever.
yeah.
And the game would fit. The game finished obviously, and they said, and I saw kind of like a little skirmish, but I didn't know that it was Rob Saleh or anything like that. And then when I saw online later on in the day, they were talking about the scuffle, and it's like, it was one of those things where it's like, it's just like
Well, that's good to
unnecessary
know. That's
ex
good to know. I love that.
unnecessary nonsense. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
do
For
feel
posts.
that makes me look at Liam Cohen different, and it makes me look at Rob Sala a little bit different too.
Mm,
I mean, that's still my
just
man, but like, you can't be letting Liam Cohen win or lose. You can't be letting Liam Cohen disrespect you. You can't be letting Mister
yeah.
Duval. You can't let him. You can't
Mm.
let him punk you like that after the game.
And he win like and he also won. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you look like a crybaby. Like it's almost like you like gave out excuses before they actually happened. So
Yeah, I don't know. Where are we with the 49ers? Because I didn't watch a ton of that game.
they don't look good,
I
man.
just saw I just the little bit that I saw was Brock Purdy not playing well.
Yeah, it's almost like they kind of played better with Mac Jones.
Well, that's the thing because like I went into that game thinking like I obviously I didn't take the Niners. None of us did, but I went into that game. I took them in one of my survivor pools. It's mad funny. I took them. I was in the survivor pool where you could buy back before, like, you could buy back after up until week 5. So it was my last
Oh,
chance to
damn.
buy back, and I lost last week taking. Who did I take? Oh, I took that was the one where I was trying to be cute, taking all the dogs, and I took
Hmm.
Houston. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy back into this one, and I'm not gonna be stupid. I'm gonna not take try to
Yeah.
do it all dogs. And I took San Francisco and lost anyway. Um,
Mhm.
but I looked at that game like Brock Purdy coming in would be an automatic upgrade adjustment, and it doesn't appear to be the case. Not to say that Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy, but it's just to say that Brock Purdy is not yet on the level where he could step in and immediately be an
Automatic
upgrade.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Of course, like clockwork, third down. It doesn't matter what tight end it is. Third down, Darren Waller, fresh out of retirement, 14-yard reception, which
Great.
I almost took the over on that just because I knew.
Well, I did take the over on that, so that's great. All right, so recapping, um, you got off to a great start Sunday. Sunday early, you got the 3 points in the bag. That's got to feel good getting your
Cruising.
your best bet out of the way before 1 o'clock even hits. That has to feel good.
Yeah. And it wasn't even particularly because even once you get up by that much, it's almost like, oh, okay, well, they're not gonna, and then even how
Yeah,
the numbers
yeah.
were playing out. So, I mean, comfortable, but then, I had I had a pri prime time Justin Herbert show up. Um and the greatest coach of all time, Harbaugh, show up. And it wasn't. It was kind of a wrap for me. And the Panthers of every other week besides last week showed up.
Yeah, man, it's weird. What do we do with the Panthers? Because a matter of fact,
There's a
better question. Forget about the Panthers. I mean, we can get into the Panthers after, but I think a more interesting question is like I haven't even thought about the Panthers after that. I'm like whatever, but I was thinking about next week. What like I'm less interested in what it means for the Panthers, more interested in what it means for New England. New England takes on Buffalo next week. I saw what was the spread on that? That I think it was 8.5. I think New England's getting 8.5. Last I saw.
Mhm.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I've seen. I mean, that's a big number, man. That's a big, it's a big divisional number. I don't, and I'm in this weird place with New England right now because I'm excited for the Vrabel bounce back, or I'm excited for the Vrabel betting spots, but
Mhm.
I don't believe in Drake May at all. So I'm kind of torn. Like I want to bet on Vrabel, but I also want to fade Drake May. So I'm like, I guess I just got to leave it. I got to leave it alone until one of those forces sort of takes over the other.
Mhm.
Did you watch a ton of that Patriots Carolina game? Because that shit was out of control
It was,
early. I
yeah.
felt like.
It just kept, yeah. It kept.
The funny thing about it
Uh,
is that Carolina scored first, and I seen Carolina score, and I was like, oh man, please let Carolina fucking beat the
yeah.
Patriots. That would have made me so happy. And then next time I checked the score, it was way out of control, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
okay, well there goes that.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt. I was like, all right, let's go. Like, yeah. Like, Panthers. It looked real quick. Like I had the right side on that. Nope.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of where the Panthers are at right now. And I still don't really know what to make of what the there's a lot of teams that I still don't know what to make of them, but the Steelers put up a good performance. It was not a performance that makes me feel super confident in them. And now they're on a bye, so we don't got to worry about them for this coming week. I was trying to look ahead to figure out where the survivor spots would be this coming week. That was why I was looking at the Buffalo New England game.
Mhm.
I was looking at Arizona Tennessee. Arizona hosting Tennessee. I hate putting my life in the hands
Yeah.
of Kyler Murray, but I've just been. I've Tennessee is really bad. Tennessee's
Yeah.
really bad. I was actually thinking.
And
You know what else I was thinking? I might go Baltimore at home in a desperation spot with Houston. Houston is bad, yo. I know they shut out Tennessee, but they're bad. Like they should have. They were only up 6-0 at halftime at
yeah, man.
home
That
against
one.
Tennessee in a totally desperation spot. If Tennessee wasn't so bad, they could have found a way to snipe them and get that game. Like Houston, they can't figure out anything offensively. Obviously, the defense has held up, but offensively, they can't figure out shit. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna have something with if they're gonna make the full transition from washed up Nick Chubb to Woody Marks. Maybe they'll get a little bit of a boost and some juice for the running game, and maybe that can kind of set some things off and help out CJ Stroud in the pass game. But right now, their offense looks like
Yeah, it
dog
was
shit.
terrible. Yeah, it was like Nico Collins disappeared. Like,
Well, I'm still pissed off at Nico Collins because Houston should have won that game the week before against Jacksonville, and if he doesn't fucking have that fumble in the fourth quarter, they could have won that game. But yeah, no, Nico Collins has been sort of. He had one good game. That was his best game, but he fucked the game up.
Mhm. Yeah,
They haven't figured out a way to get him open. I don't know. And then we had Chargers Giants. I mean, that game kind of went. It's funny because I felt like that game was going to go one of two ways. It was either going to be the Giants were going to be a surprise, which they were, or they were going to get blown out.
Yeah.
Um, and you kind of you could tell right away which way it was going to go. Like, you could tell that they weren't going to get blown out. Like, the defense held up. Everybody seemed like they had a little bit more juice. And once,
Yeah, it's funny you say that because like it felt like that from the beginning, the way that the defense was flying around, and like even like Brian Burns, I think there was on a play that he came around the back and he made a tackle on it might have been on Amari and Hampton, and it was just like they were all amped up, and even like the dude from Drew Phillips, like they were all super amped up like anytime they made a play, and it just seemed like they had more energy. Like the
yeah,
defense had more energy, as if like they weren't like lethargic, like kind of waiting around to see something bad. And that could be, because they started off the way that they started off on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
maybe that
get
kind of gave
drive
them a
down,
little
get a lead.
pep.
But I'm not going to lie. My first instinct right away after they won that game was I was sitting there like this, waiting to see what the line is gonna be against New Orleans, because I couldn't wait to get on New Orleans. I was kind of surprised that they were only getting 2.5 last I checked. I thought that maybe the line will move. 2.5 is not really enough for me to for me to go all in on New Orleans next week, but
Mhm.
we'll see what the Giants are, but one game and one fluky win against the Chargers team that looks out of it, and that when the Giants look like they are all fired up, that
Mhm.
it's going to take more than that for me to think that they should be road favorites against anybody.
Yeah.
As even as bad as New Orleans is, and as bad as New Orleans has been, the Giants they have not earned the right to be road favorites against really anybody, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I mean, listen, maybe if they can keep the momentum going, and Dart, just kind of continues to go on like a steady incline and improves week by week, then I'll look at them differently. But based off of 1 week, it's hard for me to feel like I would, because like I already had a conversation with somebody this morning that was like, oh yeah, Giants next week, they can go
Yeah.
win 2 in a row and they could beat New
Yeah.
Orleans. They're only 2.5 point favorites. I'm like, yo, they don't deserve to be favorites against anybody. Like,
Yeah.
but we'll see. But Neighbors being, and that's the other thing, Neighbors being out, I think that's not nothing.
Mhm.
Even if the Giants do manage to win in New Orleans next week, if I'm getting New Orleans plus a field goal, I'll take that. If that number gets up to 3.5, I would love that, just because New Orleans, as bad as they've been, they haven't
They've been in
quit.
the games.
Yeah, they haven't quit. They went up to Buffalo and they were ready to play. They got their asses kicked, but they were competing for the first half, and you could tell that they're not like Tennessee is giving off a little bit of quit. Tennessee is giving off a little bit of we're not really trying that hard. But I haven't really gotten that from New Orleans. They've been like, they got their asses kicked in Seattle just because they were terrible on special teams and just because they're not very good. But I don't
And once they
believe
get
that.
in, and once they get into a hole
Yeah.
early, it's impossible for them to dig
Yeah,
their way out of it
exactly.
with
Then you
Spencer
got
Rattler.
Rattler trying to desperately make shit happen, and then the shit just avalanches. But I could totally see them, if they come out, if they come out and get out to a hot start against the Giants and put up points to start the game and have the Giants chasing all day, and they're able to, sort of dictate what the offense is going to do. I could see that. I could see them winning that game, but we still got to wait and see what the injury reports are going to be. A lot of ugly injuries this week. That's the one thing that's has me waiting on Baltimore at home against Houston because obviously Lamar is a huge one, but they had so many injuries in that game against the Chiefs that I gotta wait and see what they're working with because it feels like it's getting ugly. Or I mean, I guess Stavi is a perfect example of it. Just the vibes just feel like they're getting ugly real fast with Baltimore.
The
Like
Ravens said dick, yo.
yeah, I'm not feeling great about the Super Bowl prediction. But the one thing I'm just kind of telling myself is that obviously it's still very early, and also it could be that like I feel like Baltimore for the last couple of years they've been contenders, they've been having dominant regular seasons and positioning themselves as like the best team in the conference and then falling short. It may actually be to their, sometimes it's just weird in that way that it may actually be to their benefit to get off to a bit of a slower start and then go into the playoffs hot with kind of like a nothing to lose
Yeah.
mentality on the road. I feel like they've had all these playoff games that they've lost. They've either been big favorites, they've been at home, or, like were they, I can't remember if they were, I feel like they were favored. No, they couldn't have been favored in Buffalo, but they might have been. They've been favored a lot in these playoff games.
Hmm.
So part of me feels like it might be to their benefit if they just kind of go in there a little bit loose with as a heavy dog and as a team that people kind of leave for dead because they've yet to. We've seen them in the playoffs fail, but we haven't seen them in a position where they're like on some nothing to lose underdog type shit. So.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there's some teams that actually perform way better when it's like that, and clearly the other way doesn't like we've seen it proven multiple times, multiple years that like when they have to, go into the game as the authority, they tend to fall flat. They kind of like I think they play on their like they automatically kind of go into the games thinking that they're the Ravens. Other team should fear them.
yeah.
So
Yeah, the one thing I have to give credit to, I got to kind of take back what I said about, well, not take back, but the Lions are playing well. I still got to see them keep it going against like big time opponents. That win is funny because it's like that win that they had against Baltimore was impressive. But now, as the weeks continue to go by, maybe Baltimore's not as dominant as I thought. So maybe that win isn't as impressive as I thought. But I will say the Lions look like they're getting back to that late, like last season form. I don't know if it's gonna hold up. We'll see when they face the Packers again, or when they have some more of these division games. But Lions are looking like they're humming on all cylinders, at least on offense. So. I did not expect them to be able to pick up right where they left off like that on offense with the with the departures of the offensive linemen and obviously Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, but fucking Man Campbell seems to be holding it together out there. So, that's why I didn't, even as big as that Browns number was, I was never gonna take the Browns coming off of a huge win as a huge dog on the road. Like the Browns are a whole different ball game when they're at home. I'll take them at home as a big dog. As a dog on the road in the fast track against a high-powered offense like the Lions, Joe Flacco is such a disgrace. Like every time I see Joe Flacco looking as bad as he looks, I get more and more mad that he won that comeback player of the year trophy. Like he had no business winning that shit. And Kevin Stefanski has no business starting Joe Flacco right now. Like with the way that quarterback room is, he has no business. Joe Flacco has no business playing.
yeah, I mean I'm having a little trouble with my audio, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, no, I'm starting to think that it's the actual. I have a splitter uh, that connects my camera and the Yeti microphone or whatever, and I'm starting to think that that's the issue.
Hmm. Could
Yeah,
be.
'cause- yeah, because it's like going. It's like the Yeti is disconnecting and connecting. So maybe I have the problem solved.
All right, and then what were the other games? Obviously, we had the Eagles Tampa Bay. That was a that sort of didn't really live up to the hype. I mean, it got close towards the end, but I just feel like once a team jumps up, like when you start the game out with a blocked punt, what was it? A blocked punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah,
When you start the game out like that, it kind of ruins the game. Like it doesn't ruin the game, but it just changes the whole tenor of the game. Like if you had, obviously none of us were on that game from a betting standpoint. If I had anything, I would have been on Tampa Bay plus the 3.5. But it was like if you had Tampa Bay plus the 3.5,
you're
and
done.
you, as soon as you give up a kick like that, it's over. Like you know to make up a swing like that against a good team is just it's asking a lot. And then not only that, the fact that Baker threw that pick in the end zone, it's like shit like that. You're never gonna cover a small number against a good team making those types of mistakes and having
Yeah.
those types of special like those types of swings in special teams.
Yeah, and I mean, Mike Evans is a big loss in a game like that because that's a game that it's a heavyweight. It's a heavyweight type of fight. You want your sluggers in there.
Yeah, hundred
You know what I'm
percent.
saying? The guy that you could throw that ball to, and because obviously like Cade Otton made an appearance. Like he was, I don't, obviously I thought he was going to have a better season so far because at the end of the season last year he was doing, he would pop up a lot, but then um, he had been a no-show for most of the game. But I guess they brought him back in because obviously when you have so many weapons, it's kind of like hard to kind of focus in on the second tier, but um oh, let's go. Oh no. Damn
All right,
it.
well, Flex is obviously distracted, so we'll try to wrap this up. The last game, I guess we had the only game that we haven't really touched on too much is Dallas and Green Bay. Dallas and Green Bay. I fell asleep. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch the end of the game. I went to sleep. I felt all I know is that from what I saw, I fell asleep sometime in like the fourth quarter. And even though I was surprised that Dallas scored so many points late in the game, but I still never felt like 7-7 wasn't going to be enough points to cover it because it just felt like Dallas defense. Like I was watching that game, like Dallas defense. The only thing I was worried about was, are they gonna like completely, is the fucking dam gonna break and they're just gonna, is Green Bay
Mm,
just gonna start lighting them up? But it didn't really feel that way. And plus, I still kind of felt like Dak at home is gonna find a way to continue to put points on the board. I think Green Bay obviously has a good defense, but they still haven't really proven that they have like a stingy shut down a good offense type of defense. So I always felt like at Dak at home, especially in a big game like that, I always felt like their back door was always going to be open unless like Green Bay just totally pulled away. Um, and now you got to worry about because actually, let me check right now because that'll be an interesting one because I was looking at it. I was thinking about next week with the Jets and the Cowboys. But I was just thinking to myself, no matter what happens with the Jets tonight, it's not going to move the number in the Jets' direction.
mm,
Um, Whereas if the Jets if the Jets lose tonight, and or if they lose badly or they just look bad, I could see Dallas becoming a big favorite, and I would want to be in on the Jets at that point.
mm,
But I'm like, if the Jets destroy Miami, I feel like the talk will still be about how bad Miami is, and people won't credit the Jets enough to where it'll move the line, and the Jets will become huge favorites against Dallas.
yeah.
I just don't see that.
Mm,
So I'm just keeping an eye on that. Right now they're 2.5 point dogs, the Jets, at home against Dallas.
mm,
And I was ready to take that number right away. But like I said, the whole thought process was like, I bet you, I don't know what's gonna happen with this game, but I just feel like that number's only gonna go in the Jets' direction no matter what happens.
Yeah.
I don't see the Jets be doing anything that's gonna make them a big favorite in that game.
Hmm.
But how are you feeling about that game
Um,
after watching Dallas last night?
I mean, I guess like the Jets being at home, it does make a big difference because I just think Dak Prescott is a totally different. It seems like he's a totally different quarterback when he's at home.
Yeah,
He
for
like
sure.
always he pretty much finds a way. He pretty much finds a way to show up no matter what. Obviously, at at MetLife, I just feel like there's enough where it's like it could turn into a Justin Herbert sort of situation where it just um but um I don't know. I just I don't feel good about how their offense was looking. You know, CeeDee Lamb being out is because the thing is like the way that they were been talking up the Packers, it's like you think that, their defense is going to, handle a Cowboy offense, and just the way that they played out, putting up all those points and yards. Granted, I know there was an extra quarter involved there, but I don't know. I just
Oh,
the
the extra
offense
quarter was
did,
only 3 points.
yeah, but like in terms of like the yardages and all that, it looks a lot, it looks a lot more gaudy
Yeah,
when
that's
you
true.
see the over. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. I don't feel great about it, but that's the defense has to figure it out, man. I know next week they should probably get back Jermaine Johnson and then one of the cornerback that they traded for. So it should start looking a little bit better because we're starting the defensive line is not looking great right now for the Jets. So, got to
Well, we'll
capitalize on
see.
the teams.
We'll see if they get after Tua tonight. And where are we with Chiefs Jacksonville next week? Chiefs 2.5 point favorites in Jacksonville. Oh, now it's up to 3.5. Chiefs 3.5 point favorites in Jacksonville. I'm like, my instinct is I don't want anything to do with Jacksonville. I
Yeah,
still am not. I still don't believe in Jacksonville, but admittedly, I didn't watch this week's game, and it just appears as though their defense is a little bit better than I thought it would be. But I don't
yeah.
know. I just keep feeling like they've been very fortunate in spots where they've gotten these defensive matchups. Like their defense looked really good against Carolina. What does that mean? Nothing.
Yeah.
Their defense looked really good this week from what I hear, but I mean the
It
Niners are just so banged up, and Purdy coming back the first time, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's still like trying to figure out what these teams are, and it's and also them starting off the season, new offensive play calling, new the way that they're playing is a little bit different. I mean, maybe that catches up later on in the season. We've seen that happen a lot, but God damn it, man.
Do they you think that they have a strong chance to win the division?
Well, I like the Colts. They do look at their defense. I think their defense translates, and it's just dependent on like what uh Daniel Jones shows up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's very, it could be great. And even he wasn't really that bad uh yesterday. It's
Yeah,
just,
no, he was
you
alright. I
know,
mean, he wasn't lights out, perfection the way he had been. No turnovers.
mhm,
Obviously, he had turnovers, but he still played a pretty decent game. No
yeah.
rushing though. That was I was surprised in that. I thought that he would have done more with his legs in that game, but he didn't do shit.
Well, also considering the way that, the Rams get after, you would think that, they would do some of those kind of like bait and switch where like, they kind of get the Rams rushing, pinning their ears back and then kind of wait for something to open up the middle and just, break one for 22, 25 yards. but guess it didn't happen. But man, AD Mitchell, that play, man, I don't know how many times it has to happen. But sometimes a player like that kind of indicates the kind of mindset that you have, and we could see with like Malachi Corley that he's the culprit from last year. He got cut this off season, and he's nowhere to be found. So it's almost like it's almost kind of like one of those things where it's like, is he just a stupid player? Like is that the type of that the type of thing that he kind of, all right, that it manifested itself on the field in this manner, but maybe behind the scenes, maybe that's why a second round pick like AD Mitchell hasn't made as much noise as maybe we thought he would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna get cut, but he's definitely has not found a way to climb up the pecking order receiver wise on that team. I would have thought that by now he would have at least been the three there, and it
Yeah,
doesn't seem like he's even that. So
yeah. Because I mean, it feels like Alec they're begging for somebody to take that from Alec Pierce,
yeah,
and
exactly.
it's not like he's doing that much either, but he's still keeping it.
Yeah, and even Josh Downs hasn't been. Josh Downs had a good year last year, but he hasn't really
Mm,
sort of clicked with Daniel Jones. But he's still ahead of the pecking order than AD Mitchell. But I don't know.
yeah.
T's and P's to AD Mitchell. Hopefully he can get some sleep tonight because I'm sure he didn't sleep well last night.
Hmm.
But I sure did because that helped me get my Rams cover. So
Hmm.
I'll take it. Shout out to him for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's it. That's it. I got nothing else. I'm looking forward to tonight's. I don't like the Monday night double headers. The only thing I like about
Mm.
them is that you can throw together some ridiculous parlay bet and hope it hits. But besides that, I don't really care for the Monday night double headers. But obviously, I got a lot. Word Life and I both have a lot on the line. Well, not a lot on the line. I think these are both 1 point picks, but
Hmm.
still, it's always oh no, they're actually 2 point picks. They're both 2 point picks. So it's always a little spicy when you have the head-to-head action, head on head action.
Pulls.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll have it ready. We'll be ready to go for next week. Who do we have this Thursday? Who's the Thursday game this week? I forget.
Uh, did I hear Seahawks and 49ers? I feel like it's
Nah,
49ers.
Seahawks can't go back to back
Oh, then it's 49ers.
Thursdays. Can they?
Uh,
No, is Philly is wait, is that this week? No, that's next week. Let me see. Next week is Eagles Giants. Is Niners Rams.
okay. Yeah.
Rams at home. Rams at home. 5.5 point favorites. Yeesh. I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't know if I'm tempted to. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do it.
That's a 3 point game, no matter what way it goes.
Yeah, the one thing I just feel like the Niners, man, they're so beat up. They went
Hmm.
into that game so beat up, and now in a short week, I don't know. But I wouldn't have the guts to go if I wouldn't have the guts to lay 5.5. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I can't do that on a Thursday, even though it's a division game, and even though I think at the end of the day the Rams are a lot better than the 49ers, but can't do it. Got that's a stay away. That's a steer clear right there.
Hmm.
All right, sir. We'll let you enjoy your the rest of your hometown home team cooking. I'm gonna put
Hmm.
on my early Halloween mask that I got from Five Below.
Nice.
I was very excited about this mask. This iced out fucking skull mask. I don't know what I'm gonna
Should
do
have
with this, but I'm gonna do something with it. But
should have
anyway,
gone hard in the pandemic.
I know. I wish I had this in the pandemic. Would have been killing it. Actually, no, because I had the whole thing. I think I told you about when I went to the hospital and I had a different type of skull mask, and the police almost arrested me. I was
Oh.
out there trying to find Blancs in the hospital. They sent me to the wrong hospital. It was a disaster. But anyway, we'll check back.